On Tuesday, the council pushed one option to a future work session, the OC Council, that would regulate short-term rentals in residential areas and mobile home communities. CoastTV reporter Kevin Zapay live in Ocean City with this story. Kevin, the proposed rule could affect thousands of homeowners.
Christina, the proposed rule would add a 10% cap on short-term rental licenses allowed in those areas, which means there would only be 375 licenses permitted in an area that has around 3,750 homes. Now, according to the Ocean City agenda, there are currently 341 licenses in residential areas and mobile home communities, which means if this rule were in place, there would only be 34 new rental licenses homeowners would have to fight over. Now, that's something one realtor in Ocean City believes isn't fair.
They're still going to be impacting somewhere north of 3,000 families in the future and take their rights away from their ability to rent their property short term.
On Tuesday, the town discussed the short-term rental licenses and possible regulations, but they also have planned in a future meeting discussions on regulations to the operations of short-term rentals in those areas. I'm Kevin Zapay, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Tuesday marked the first day of the second half of the 153rd General Assembly in Dover. One of the highlights, a bipartisan bill passing the House, House Amendment 2 to Senate Bill 106. It requires school districts and charter schools to adopt policies restricting student use of cell phones. Parents we spoke with today think the bill is long overdue and needed to cut down on distractions in the classroom.
Actually, definitely do agree. I feel like that cell phones are a huge distraction. Having them be limited to it, I think is very good and progressive for them. So I definitely agree with that law that they should limit the cell phones in the classrooms and in the schools.
That bill now heading back to the Senate for consideration. Let's take a live look into Lewes now and check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, it's going to get colder, you say?
Yeah, it's going to be cold, and we've got a little bit of flip-flopping happening with the precipitation that actually arrived a little bit ahead of schedule. So in one sense, we avoid the possibility of snow for Thursday and really precipitation in general. But then we have the cold air that's going to step in even a little bit earlier. So I don't know if that's necessarily a great deal that we brokered there, but that's what's on the table. So Ocean City, we're at 44 degrees at this present time. We're going to stay in the mid-40s with increasing cloud cover, and what rain we've had is beginning to pitter out even as we speak. Temperatures right now, we're at 45 in Rehoboth, 49 Indian River Inlet, 43 Ocean Pines, 44 in Ocean City, 43 right now in Georgetown with cloudy skies staying persistent. Now, as far as where we are right now, we're pretty close to where we were temperature-wise, same point that we were yesterday. Now, a couple of other caveats we need to mention. We also have winds picking up momentum as well. In fact, the velocity of the winds have gone so high that we now have an upgraded gale wind watch for Cambridge area, Castlehaven, Lloyds, as well as Hill Point. Watching out for about 30 to 35 mile per hour winds. That also applies to the folks that are in Crisfield, Fairmont, and Oriole, with the gale wind watch staying in effect until 6 o'clock in the morning for Friday. On the other side, we have a gale wind warning. That's for Lewes, Rehoboth, Fenwick Island, and all those areas. Watching out for 45 mile per hour winds, and partially due to the trough that you see that pops up right here. That's actually causing the concerns there. The rain is actually racing towards the northeast at approximately 35 miles per hour, and we're looking at the last umph of it really pulling out of the way, so the drying pattern is already beginning to kick in for us. Generally speaking, I'm not looking for another wave of rain to begin to kind of visit us. And then as you take a look at our expectation for Thursday, we're looking for a chance of rain, all green, no pinks or no whites, right there, as far as our mosaic is concerned, so we're not concerned about any freezing rain or any kind of snow. However, the wind chill factors are going to drop into the teens rather quickly for us. And so we're keeping a close eye on how precipitation is going to pull through. Now, by the time we get to Saturday morning, we could see perhaps a touch of a flurry or two to try to move across the region. But once again, that's really an outside outlier chance for the most part. Here's a look at our expectations for the rest of this evening. We're expecting temperatures to stay in the 40s. 44 for us going into this evening, 46 by 11 o'clock, partly to mostly cloudy skies, and then 42 degrees going into the early morning hours. But the winds will be shifting from the south, and they will be changing directly out of the west, becoming a little more zonal. Coming up, we're going to detail just how cold it's going to be Friday morning with the wind chill factor. In fact, Christina, it's going to go so low, it might make your eyeballs pop out of your head.
Oh, geez. Okay. Thank you, Paul. New tonight at 6, a 41-year-old Shelley Sortino of Milton has been arrested for a robbery in Lewes last night. That's according to Delaware State Police. Troopers say Sortino entered Dollar General around 7 p.m., implied she had a gun, and stole money from the register before driving away in a blue Ford Focus. About an hour later, troopers located Sortino in Lincoln and found she had an active warrant and a stolen license plate. She was arrested without incident and charged with 2 felonies. On your screen now is Route 1 between Best Lane and Janice Road in Lewes. DelDOT says this area will see lane closures starting Monday, January 19th for about a month from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's for widening, grading, and resetting or shifting of temporary barriers related to the Minnows-Conway grade-separated intersection project. The Rehoboth Beach Barbell Club is hosting an event honoring Corporal Matthew Ty Snook, who was killed in the line of duty just a few days before Christmas. According to their Facebook page, the Lift in Honor is happening Saturday, January 17th from 10 to 2. It plans to bring people together through powerlifting and fitness challenges. The club says all participants can donate directly to the official fundraiser supporting Corporal Snook's family. And on Sunday, the Blue Line Network is having an event to honor Corporal Snook. The video you see now is from a similar event they did in Newark earlier this month. The event is happening this weekend at Hudson Fields in Milton. Vehicles will be directed through a designated area, and volunteers will put memorial stickers on the rear window of each car. There's no charge for the sticker, but donations are requested, and organizers say 100% of those donations will go to the Snook family. We are just getting started tonight. Coming up in sports, Cape Henlopen and Sussex Central boys wrestling battle each other tonight. The Delmarva Sports Network fills us in on the heavyweight showdown.
The winds are starting to pick up momentum going into tomorrow morning, reaching between 30 to possibly 35 miles per hour inland and out on the shore. We're watching out for 45 mile per hour winds with the latest gale wind warning, and the temperatures are tanking as well.
But first, a new firehouse in Long Neck under construction. How the expansion looks to improve response times. That story when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company undergoing a multi-million-dollar upgrade to its second fire station in Long Neck. CoastTV reporter Drew Bellinger shows us how the upgrades are going and how they will improve the operations there.
Construction is underway in Long Neck to improve the operation at the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company Station Number 2. Officials at the Volunteer Fire Company say that the $3.5 million expansion was funded by company reserves and a construction mortgage.
Well, that does give me increased confidence.
Greg Foster says support must come with growth, especially during a shortage of volunteers.
I mean, I see them building 1,000 houses over here, 1,000 houses over there, and somehow we have to handle all that with grocery stores, with roads, with first responders, all of it.
The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company says it responded to 607 calls, their highest call volume ever in 2025. Now, over my shoulder to the left, this is the old building. It's been here since 1972, and over here to the right is where all of the new construction is taking place. Let's take a look. This is how crammed the original building is. Here is the new building, which will have a larger space for fire trucks, radio call rooms, and an upgraded kitchen. President of the Volunteer Fire Company, Patrick Miller, says change was overdue.
Not having the resources or the equipment in order to serve a community is a great stress.
The crew showed me their response area, which ranges from Angola to occasional responses in Harbison, depending on the severity. Miller says the expansion improves efficiency.
If you're going to a multi-story building in Long Neck, instead of traversing 4 or 5 miles to get here, we're traversing less than a mile to get there to better serve. That is a substantial difference.
This growing coastal town has the resources on the way. In Long Neck, Drew Bellinger, Coast TV News.
Now, the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company, not the only one seeing expansion. Earlier this week, the Milford Town Council voted to approve site plans for the Carlisle Fire Company's substation. That future station will be on Cedar Beach Road. Fire officials say it will help them improve response times, and they tell us they've already made some changes to the building there, like adding heating and adding lockers. Weather is up next. Paul Williams is in our Coast TV First Alert Weather Center, tracking your full forecast right now.
Well, what little rain that fell is already vacating the premises, and we need to brace ourselves for that cold air that I've been harping about all week long. Oh yeah, it's coming. It's like death and taxes. A couple of things you ain't gonna be able to avoid, right? So as you take a look at Rehoboth right now, we're talking about 45 degrees. Dew point temperature is 36. Now the wind's relatively gentle for right now, but don't let that fool you because the winds are really about to cut up in a major way because we have some new warnings to pass along to you. It's 44 degrees actually by 10 o'clock, and we're going to stay in the mid to lower 40s for the rest of the evening in Rehoboth specifically. Now, as you take a look from an overall standpoint, everybody's pretty much in the mid to lower 40s. The only real exception might be the Indian River Inlet, right now coming in at 47 degrees, and it was just at 49 about an hour ago. It dropped a couple more degrees, but that's the only real anomaly right in this area here, pocket of warmer air, but everybody else is pretty uniform for the most part in the 40s. Now, we're also very similar to where we were just 24 hours ago. Zero change at this particular hour, but here's the thing that has changed. The rain has already raced towards the northeast and out of the way, but now we have a gale wind warning in effect until Friday morning. Now, this is for Lewes, Rehoboth, all the way down towards Ocean View and Fenwick Island, and this is talking about 45-mile-per-hour winds off of the beach, okay? So that's just how blustery it's going to be there. Now, other locations for as far as the Chesapeake Bay area and from Ocean City down to Chincoteague, that's actually a gale wind watch, which is watching out for 30-mile-per-hour winds. So 30 versus 40 and all that. Either way, we're talking about very blustery conditions, especially as the trough is pushing through and is dissipating and moving along with the rain. Now, the bigger story is obviously the cold, and that's what I keep harping on. Now, for Thursday, we're going to get a little frost possible, but Friday, we reach beyond the hard freeze here. Big time cold that's going to be in place for that Saturday, and then we really get colder Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday going into next week, because that's the kind of cold we are bracing for. But as you take a look, our expectation Friday, we're staying pretty clear. The winds for Thursday out of the west-northwest at about 30 miles per hour, a little bit above it, 30 to 35, right in that range for Milton as well as Georgetown and Bridgeville. So we're looking at blustery conditions inland as well as along the shore. So it's going to be a wrap-up tight kind of a situation for Thursday and going into Friday, even though Friday the winds will start pushing out of the south after we get past the morning time. So temperatures in the 30s. So as you take a look at Thursday, we stay cloudy. Friday, we begin to clear out for us a little bit quicker, but then the big story is going to be that precipitation is going to begin to move quickly out of the way, and it won't pose much of an opportunity for us because even what little precipitation we're seeing now is breaking up as we speak. The bigger story, the wind chill. Feeling like 16 Thursday night, feeling like 9 Friday morning. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. And we do have a chance of snow developing on Sunday morning, but even that's a little small sliver. The bigger story, check out Tuesday. All I'm saying is check out Tuesday.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Up in Lewes, Cape Henlopen Boys Wrestling currently hosts Sussex Central, which you can catch live on DSN. The Vikings, they got extra motivation on the mats tonight, given that SC ended Cape's season each of the past 2 years. Last year, the Vikings were bounced by the Golden Knights in the first round of states, and 2 years ago, when the Golden Knights won the whole thing, it was at the hands of the Vikings. But this SC team looks a lot different this season than it did just last year. Their top 2 wrestlers graduated, and their current group of wrestlers are a little dinged up in terms of injuries. So Cape, who dominated at the War on the Shore annual wrestling event in Ocean City last week, they've got the advantage. And when I mean dominated, they sent 5 Vikings up to the podium. And the Golden Knights, well, they only sent 1. So you got to think that Cape's going to pull it out, but that's why we do this. This is why we play Sussex Central and Cape, currently battling it out on DSN, and well, you can go check it live right now. That'll do it in sports. Have a good night.
So the streets are a little bit on the wet side for us actually in Salisbury, but the precipitation has come to an end. So we're not expecting any additional showers that will cause any more complications with travel for tonight. So a bit of good news there. And as you take a look, wait, what's going on right there? I don't think that's a chase. Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. I thought it was cops chasing somebody. My bad. We're about to do a live report right here. Okay, anyway. Sakari Rogers of Seaford, congratulations. You're our umbrella winner, courtesy of Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. You can call our weather line, and you can go ahead and catch up on with your forecast. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalas, and Federico. The number to call is 443-880-9100. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Tomorrow's going to be colder than usual, along with Friday. Saturday will get warm again, then we'll drop like a stone. But man, when you take a look at the day after MLK Day, oh my goodness, it's going to be sunny and bright and beautiful. But man, is it going to be cold. High of only 26 degrees, and we're going to go down to 18. And that's not the wind chill factor. That's the actual temperature we expect before we calculate the winds.
Well, at least it will be sunny. That's a silver lining. Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 6 tonight. You can find more news, more weather. Just download our Coast TV News app. The NBC Nightly News is up next, and we'll see you later for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.